I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucks.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Howdy ho, howdy hey, how the hell is everybody? Welcome into another fantastic episode of the Buccateers. I am your host, Tampa Tones, here alongside the great J-Lo, wishing everybody a great holiday weekend. If you're continuing it today, I know some people have celebrations continuing today, like myself. I got some friends giving on tap. J-Lo, hope you had a good Thanksgiving, brother, and hope you're having a great holiday weekend as it's full of football, food, friends, and family, and more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll tell you one thing. I am stuffed, brother, man. All that eating I did, Thanksgiving, going into yesterday, just amazing football, food, family vibes. You know, I love it, man. Hopefully yours was good too, my friend.
Yeah, it was great, brother. And now we're back to kind of reality as we near the Bucs game here, as Bucs have a big matchup on our hands upcoming this Sunday, and that's going to be one of the first things we crack into and get our hands on. Mr. J-Lo, Bucs Panthers right around the corner. Don't forget, it ain't a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff that some might be accustomed to by now this year. It's actually going to be a 4:05 Eastern kickoff. Thoughts on that, J-Lo? I'm a big fan of the 4 o'clock slate. I wish they all started at 4:25, but I'll take the 4:05.
Yeah, it just means we got to wait a little longer. You know, it is what it is. You know, 4:25 sounds more doable for all three teams, you know, all three games to be played. But unfortunately, it's the cards we are dealt with. So just give me some red zone time from 1 to 4 as we wait for the Bucs Panthers game.
Yeah, and speaking of Bucs Panthers, we got the injury report. We got Bucs Bets to go over, and we have more on the way once again. This Bucs Panthers game is going to be a big one and could impact the Bucs season. Every game's pretty much like a playoff game from here on out, J-Lo. You don't have much room for errors at all, if any. We talked before, it looking like the Bucs could probably afford to just drop one game the rest of the way. But other than that, J-Lo, this Bucs game, or this team and this game, are pretty much playoff mode. This team has to be ready on a weekly basis and really can't afford any slip-ups from here on out.
No, I agree. I mean, this is a game they must win. I think if they're going to drop a game, it can't be this one. Divisional conference games, you need to win in order to better your playoff chances, especially with Atlanta, you know, with their tough schedule coming up. We got a chance to really hop over them and take the division.
For those wondering what J-Lo's referring to, Atlanta has the Chargers and Minnesota back-to-back, Mr. J-Lo. You're very right there.
Yes, agreed. I feel that they can pull a win out tomorrow. It's just a game you cannot drop. And like you said, every game the rest of the way is a playoff game. You got to treat it like that. Go out there, take care of business like you did last week against the Giants. Now you got to focus zeroing on the Panthers, who are starting to come together and play a lot better, be more competitive.
It kind of feels like last year, doesn't it, J-Lo? And remember, the team we started this against last year was the Panthers, but the Bucs backs were against the wall. We had to win every game in any way possible, and the Bucs continued to tiptoe to the finish line, J-Lo, and brought home a playoff berth, kind of in the same fashion.
Yes, very much so. And let's not forget those 2 games last year against Carolina were very competitive. It wasn't like it was like a walk in the park. I mean, we really had to fight to win those games, especially the last one of the season last year. So as far as the Panthers go, I mean, I feel they are very competitive. They're much better right now than they were at the start of the season, which is why, you know, when we talked about scheduling, I was hoping we would have played them early. But now we're just going to get their best and, you know, go against Davey Boy and his Panthers.
The great Mr. and Mrs. H are tuning in from Nebraska. Greetings, men. Mrs. H with me also listening in. That was a tough loss for Nebraska last night, J-Lo. Thoughts on that quick if you caught any of that game? That was a Big Ten football game at its finest, low scoring, cold weather, smash mouth defense.
Oh, absolutely. It's unfortunate for Nebraska, especially when your team's playing so close, but yet you're on the losing end, and that always stings for the most part. But, there's always net
At
season,
least they're bowl bound for their sakes and standards.
Oh, they are? Okay. I didn't know they were bowl bound or not, but that's good. At
They
least they're
got to the
getting
6-win mark last week against Wisconsin.
Okay, that's right. No, you're right, absolutely. So that's good. I mean, get a bowl game in there, get your freshman quarterback Raiola ready for next season, let him, get to work. So it'll be fun. Hopefully they'll get a good opponent to make it interesting.
Yeah, and we got our guy Bucs Nation joining as well. My guys, good morning. Still on a cruise. Hope y'all are doing well and happy belated Thanksgiving. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you, our guy. What a life on a cruise ship, J-Lo. The cruise life is the best life. And, I hope you got to catch the game at least last Sunday, Mr. Bucs Nation. Hope you were able to watch, brother, because we did put up a W for you. Ain't that right, J-Lo?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty confident the cruise line had the Bucks game on. They're pretty good about, if you request it, they'll get the game on for you. They're pretty good about that. But hey,
I
man, it's
watched
good.
it. I watched a Bucks game on a cruise ship last year. Let me tell you, it was interesting, man. It was interesting because those fans you're with on board, if they like the other team, there ain't much wiggle room on that ship. You're gonna run into them multiple times.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I remember going on a cruise when the Bucks played the Jaguars back in 2015. That was pretty interesting because you're in a room that's full of, Jaguar and Bucks fans. But luckily we came in on the winning end. So, but it was peaceful, though. There was no, fighting or no disrespecting one another.
We didn't have a overboard look for J-Lo or anything like that, did we?
Oh, no. Maybe their case, because, their team lost. My team won. So that's what matters.
You were living the good life at that point.
Absolutely. Cruise ship, Thanksgiving, Bucks football, W. I mean, that's an amazing holiday if you ask me.
He said they had a different game on, so I had to watch from my phone, and it's good there was Wi-Fi, it was working. Hey, there you go, because you never know with those cruise ships sometimes. So you just never know. We have a text into the show from Mrs. H watching. She goes, Anthony, the 4:05 start time gives you more time to help your mom through the day. Hey, I don't know about that, J-Lo. I think it does bode well for more football consumption and more things of that nature. What say you?
I mean, let's be honest here. I mean, Mama A, she's got it down on her own, man. She's independent, man. She handles her business very well. And second of all, it's football Sunday. Even if there's not a Bucks game, you're still gonna be down in your man cave watching the football game. Just
Got to
like
be
I'm
in the Bucks cave tuning in, just like you're going to be in the cave tuning in as well. Your cave is great, and it's coming along for the holiday season. As I think Don heard that as she reacted with a laughing emoji. So
Oops.
great stuff here early on the Buccateers, as J-Lo and I are here to take you to Bucs Panthers kickoff rivalry week in college football. Who's in, who's out? Speaking of who's in, who's out, J-Lo, it does look like Joe Tryon-Shoyinka will be out for this game, along with obviously Jordan Whitehead, who got placed on injured reserve. Really glad we signed Mike Edwards now more than ever. I like the signing to begin with, but the final Bucs injury report looks as follows, J-Lo. Obviously, Whitehead's out as he's on injured reserve. Tyke Smith, Marquise Watts both ruled out as well with knee injuries. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is doubtful with his ankle, and then Troy Hill, Anthony Nelson, and Tristan Wirfs are all listed as questionable. What say you on the Bucs injury front heading into Sunday? It could be worse. It could absolutely be better, obviously, if a guy named Tristan Wirfs wasn't on there. But J-Lo, where the Bucs have came from the past month or two, could be a lot worse.
Oh, it could be. It's very unfortunate for JTS, even though he's not putting up big sack numbers, but he was playing pretty well, if you ask me. Watts not being back yet, that kind of
I
stings
thought
too.
JTS was maybe having his best year yet.
Agreed. I feel like he was definitely playing at his best. I mean, let's be honest, he wasn't going to be a double-digit sack guy, To me, he was just a good, quality player that can play good in coverage, make his tackles,
Run
get the
stuffer.
pressures, run stuffer, exactly. So it's going to be interesting how the pass rush is going to play out, with Braswell and Yaya Diaby on the other side. Braswell's going to have to really step up to the plate and help get pressure, shut down the run. I mean, and as far as Whitehead and Tyke Smith being out, Tyke Smith, that one really stings, 'cause then now we can't. It's going to change a lot of things in the dime package, which I felt was being really, worth working with because it worked well against the Giants. So now Izzy's going to go to the nickel, obviously. Edwards at safety, which knows the scheme, and I think he's a better cover safety anyway, as far as Whitehead being out. But Tyke Smith being out, that one kind of stings on defense. And as far as Tristan Wirfs being out, I mean, you gotta give Justin School his flowers, man. I mean, he's played pretty well from start, against Aiden Hutchinson and struggling to now actually being a pretty damn good backup. So I'm confident, even if Wirfs doesn't go tomorrow, I'm fine with School, playing, because Baker's on fire. He's playing on a whole nother level right now. And when you have that kind of Baker Mayfield playing, even with injuries, this man's going to light it up and win you football games.
He certainly is, J-Lo, and he's going to give you everything he's got on the football field. Godmother is in the house on Facebook. We hope all is well, and you had a great Thanksgiving, Godmother, very much so. J-Lo, we're going to look into the Panthers side of injuries now, and it's not as severe, but they do have a couple of rookies who were playing better the past month or so. Ruled is out for tomorrow. Jalen Coker, wide receiver, and Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, both ruled out for Carolina. Then you got Amare Barno is questionable with the knee. Jadeveon Clowney is questionable with the knee. Caleb Farley, the corner, questionable with the shoulder. And safety Nick Scott is also questionable with the hamstring. When you look at the Carolina side of things, J-Lo, what say you on where they stand as far as injuries are concerned? I mean, not as hefty as the Bucs necessarily, in my opinion, in terms of names, but couple of high-end rookies there ruled as out for the Panthers, and that's never a good sign for a young team trying to bode and gel together.
Well, I mean, it's going to make things interesting as far as Farley being out on the other side of the corner starting, because obviously you're going to have a good battle with Mike Evans versus Horn, so it's going to give more opportunities to McMillan, our rookie, get Sterling Shepard involved. I mean, sky's the limit, with those guys as far as, coverage wise. But the one thing I will say about the Panthers, thank God Derrick Brown's not with them right now. He's out for the season because let me tell you, that guy was a living nightmare last year when we played the Panthers. So that's one thing I will add on there. But as far as the rest of the injuries go, Panthers seem like they're going to have most of their starters ready to play. To me, the main one to look out for is Chuba Herbert. So that's
Our
why
guy
I'm able.
Marcos Cash, the Panthers fan, says keep pounding. And welcome in,
Welcome.
Marcos. Although you're invading enemy territory, we love to have you, brother. It should be a fun one in the battle of the NFC South, as Carolina has been playing their best football over the past month or so. Their two losses have come to Denver and Kansas City, but if you paid attention in that Denver and Chiefs game, they were pretty much in those ball games for the most duration, especially the Kansas City one as they sent it into overtime. And then they had back-to-back wins along the way as well, as they did beat the Giants and the Saints, and they actually ultimately got Dennis Allen with the Saints fired. So you're looking at a Carolina team that's playing much better football, going to be a really good game. And J-Lo, I still think we take care of business, don't get me wrong, but looking at it now, you kind of wish one of the two Panthers games snuck in somewhere in the front end of the schedule before they really started figuring things out with Dave Canales and company.
No, agreed. I feel like they finally got the true one running back in Chuba Herbert, who's a good runner. I like that kid. He's a fantastic running back for them.
Chuba.
For the most part, I'm glad he got paid, got his money. I think he deserves it. Bryce Young's starting to get more confidence now. That's one thing you got to give Dave Canales credit. He's very good at developing young quarterbacks or help fixing other quarterbacks that start off rough in their careers. So I feel that we're definitely going to get a good football game. But I do agree with you. I think we do take care of business, but it won't be a walk in the park like against the Giants. That should be a hard-fought battle.
Yeah, as I'm here on the Buccateers with the great J-Lo, I got Mrs. Gingerbread in the house behind me. You could see her over my shoulder. It's the holiday season. We're hoping the Bucs can bring fans some holiday joy and cheer by stacking a couple W's together. And J-Lo, since we are tipping our caps and giving kudos to some Panthers guys right now, some players in Carolina, who is the one guy out of special teams, defense, or offense, or the coaching staff that you circle twice and you're looking out for tomorrow? And hey, this guy could impact this game in a big way. And the Buccaneers players and coaches should really watch out for blank on Carolina.
Well, as I mentioned a couple of times in the show, I think Chuba Hubbard's the one I would keep a close eye on. I feel like he's the anchor to the offense to get their run game going, to help create pass plays for Bryce Young. And then on defense, I got to say J.C. Horn. I think he's a very good corner. I think he's going to give Mike a big fit tomorrow to where Mike probably won't get many touches because that's how good this kid is. He's a good cover corner. So shout out to the Panthers defense on that part. But I'd say those two guys, Chuba Hubbard on offense and then J.C. Horn on defense.
I'm going to give you a name to look out for, my friend. That's not one of those two, just to keep it, more interesting, more entertaining. We could toot those guys' horns all day if we wanted to, but why do that? I'm going to go with Eddie Pinheiro, Carolina's kicker. Guess what, J-Lo? He is actually the most accurate kicker in NFL history. Could you believe that?
I could. Plus, he's a former Gator.
And he's a former Bear. He's a former Bear, which means, if you're a Chicago sports fan, you know this by now. All good things get ran out of town by the fans, and Eddie Pinheiro is one of them.
Oh, yeah, no, he is. I mean, he definitely knows how to get hyped up, during the game. I remember watching him at Florida. He was a very fan favorite for the most part.
Hey, is that Eddie Pinheiro pump-up music right there? Since he went to Florida, you're tuning the play, and let's go.
Well, as I was saying, during his days at Florida, he was very fan favorite. They always yell, Eddie, Eddie, when he went up to go kick, his field goals. He was pretty much Mr. Clutch at that. As far as him and his career with the Bears, these kickers fall off a little bit, go to another team, and they turn to, one of the best kickers in the league. But yeah,
can you believe too, J-Lo? All of the top kickers and accuracy-wise are all currently in the NFL. Isn't that kind of crazy? You have Eddie Pinheiro, number 1, barely edging out Justin Tucker, number 2, Harrison Butker, number 3, Chris Boswell, number 4, Daniel Carlson, number 5, and it takes until number 6, Josh Lambo, to get to somebody who's not in the NFL. Then Younghoe Koo's already 7th, Kaimi Fairbairn is 10, Matt Gay is 14th, Will Lutz is 18th, Jason Myers is 20. So that's kind of an interesting stat, J-Lo. A lot of the top kickers of all time in the NFL in terms of accuracy are currently in the NFL.
I mean, well, it just makes the game more exciting. We had a lot of missed field goals, kickers for a long time, especially being a Bucs fan. But, yeah, I mean, it's good to see that. It makes it interesting. I mean, hopefully Pinheiro won't be the one to decide the game winner tomorrow for the most part. But that's incredible that, the accuracy's gotten a lot better and the field goal percentage.
Yeah, as the great John Ariola's joining live on Facebook now as well. We got a lot of good peeps in the house. Marcos goes, I'm hoping Jonathan Brooks gets more touches. I think he will as the season goes on. Carolina's going to want to try and develop that two-headed monster. Yes, they gave Chuba Hubbard a lot of money, and he's playing great. But as the Bucs know and other teams know, it's built through a 2 running back system in modern-day football. They're just waiting until Brooks gets healthier and healthier by the week to get him more and more touches. But he will get more involved as the year goes on, I assure you that, especially without Miles Sanders now, Mr. Marcos. Christopher Cole says just stay aggressive on defense and offense. Speaking of staying aggressive, J-Lo, time to do our Bucs bets and see where our betting aggressions get us. And I feel like we've been doing pretty good for the people lately out there listening to us. Here we go. You ready for some Bucs bets? Are you ready to win some cheddar?
Winner, chicken dinner. Let's do it.
Speaking of that, Breadwinners is coming up later, where we did go 2-1 on our Breadwinners segment. Remember, Tuesday we ran like a Saturday with all the NFL and college football in between Tuesday and now. But J-Lo, we're up to 32-21 on the season, plus $186 for breadwinners, as we went 2-1 last week. We had the Cowboys and Akron Zips, and you fell just short of a historic Georgia Tech breadwinner pick. Marco says, I'm not going to lie, Bucky is going to run all over our defense. Hey, that could be good advice for these Bucs Bets coming up right now. Bucs Bets segment, where J-Lo and Tampa Tones go into the world of Bucs Bets and try and win the peeps some money. Are you ready to win some money, Mr. J-Lo?
Let's do it, man. Thanksgiving's over. Christmas shopping time. Let's do it.
Yeah, between spending all on the Thanksgiving food and now turning our sights to presents, we need this money, and what a better way to win money than some betting. Mr. J-Lo, Bucs money line minus 275, so that means you got to put $27.50 on their money line to win $10. Would you rather do that, or would you rather do the spread, Bucs minus 5.5, where 20 wins you 20?
I go with the money line for sure. That's what I would go with.
You think they might not cover the 5.5, is what you're saying?
Actually, my bad. Yeah, no, the spread. My bad. I was getting mixed up with the spread and the money line.
No, you're good. So you're taking the Bucs minus 5.5, 20 to win 20, opposed to Bucs money line minus 27.50 to win 10, right?
Correct. Yes.
All righty, moving on. I get next. Over under in the game, 46 total points between these two football teams.
That's a tough one.
I'll probably go with the under. I think it might be like right there, right around that total. I'm thinking like 24-14, 24-16, 24-17 range. So I'm going with just barely under, but I am going under. But you never know. But I think this NFC South matchup is going to be hard fought and smash mouth. So give me the under. J-Lo, Bucs over under is 26.5. You bet 20, you win 20 on the 26.5. What say you?
No, I say over. I think they'll definitely score over 26 points.
And we're going to move back to our $10 bet increments for the touchdown scores. J-Lo, out of the heavy hitters, the top four favorites, who are you taking to score a touchdown for the Bucs? Are you taking Bucky Irving, where $10 would win you 7. Mike Evans, where 10 would win you 10. Rachaad White, where $10 would win you $10.50. Or Cade Otton, 10 would win you 16.
I'm going to say give me Rachaad White. He's been scoring touchdowns every single the last 5 games. So give me Rachaad White on the touchdown.
I'm up next on the medium hitters list, where Baker Mayfield is $10 to win 29. Remember, passing touchdowns are not included in this ordeal. Sterling Shepard, 10 to win 31. Jalen McMillan, 10 to win 32. Or Sean Tucker, 10 to win 37 for scoring a touchdown. Give me Sean Tucker, J-Lo. I know he fumbled last week, but he did get shown in goal line situations, in 3rd and 4th and short situations. And the Bucs have been showing Vita Vea in the backfield a little bit, J-Lo. So who's to say it can't happen again this week? Sean Tucker on a 1-yard touchdown run or so. I think that's the best value, as well as 10 wins you 37. Give me Mr. Blessed Sean Tucker. J-Lo, you get a trio of wide receivers in the next batch of touchdowns. Trey Palmer, $10 would win you 60. Rakim Jarrett, $10 would win you 60. Or Ryan Miller, $10 would win you 80. Remember, we're playing touchdown pick'em, where you put your $10 to score a touchdown. Who you going with, J-Lo? Trey Palmer and Jarrett, 10 to win 60 a pop, or Ryan Miller, 10 to win 80?
You know what? I think Trey Palmer's due for a touchdown. Give me Trey Palmer. I think Palmer gets a touchdown over those other two.
Let's hope he wakes up pissed off. That's his key
Agreed.
to touchdowns, it seems. And then I'll get the long shots. O'Keefe, 10 to win 150. O'Keefe, 10 to win 105. Payne Durham, 10 to win 150. Or Devin Culp, 10 to win 250. Let me get O'Keefe. I keep saying it, but say it ain't so, Co. Let's get you a touchdown one way or another this year to keep your 1 touchdown per year streak alive. J-Lo passing time, Baker Mayfield over under 240.5 passing yards.
Over.
Total touchdowns thrown by the player Baker Mayfield over under 1.5. Give me the over on 1.5 passing touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. J-Lo total interceptions by Bryce Young over under half an interception. If he throws one, $10 would win you $8 or $9. Are you taking that?
This one's surprising, but I say under. I think he'll protect the ball pretty well. Just won't get a lot of yards again. He'll be a 3-and-out guy instead of turn over the ball.
Player receiving yards here on our Bucs Bets segment. Mike Evans over under 61.5. Give me the over. I think they're going to continue to feed him as they try and get him back to the 1,000-yard mark, which he hasn't failed to do in his career. J-Lo, Bucky Irvin over under 20.5 receiving yards.
Oh, that's over. Easy. Easy over on that one.
Jalen McMillan over under 20.5. I'm going to go over as they look to try and keep him more involved as the season grows. J-Lo, K-Dot over under 44.5.
I say over. I think he's going to get some touches. He's just got to quit dropping the ball. He dropped a couple passes last week, but I think he makes up for it this week.
Wow, Marcos Cash says fire Ivaro. Well, wow. He was in contention for their head coaching candidacy, and look at how he's fallen. Sterling Shepard over under 21.5 receiving yards. I'm going to go with the over there. He had minimal production and a good amount of catches last week, so I think he breaks off a long one this week. J-Lo, Rashad White over under 17.5 receiving yards.
I say over. I think he'll get a nice catch and make a nice, yards after catch play for sure.
Player rushing, Bucky Irvin over under 57.5. I'm going with the over there. I think he gets that mark. J-Lo, Rashad White over under 40.5 rushing yards.
Tough one. I'll say under because I think Bucky's going to get more carries as the season goes on, and they'll use Rashad as a receiving back more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield over 9.5. We see it just about every game or so at this point, J-Lo, where Baker takes off with the rush that's at least 10 yards or plus. So give me Baker over the 9.5. J-Lo total rushing and receiving yards combined. Bucky Irvin 81.5 yards.
I'll go over. I'm on the bench last week, Tony, and it cost me a fantasy game, so I'm starting this week. So I say over.
Those will haunt you. Even if it's the right move. Still, just seeing that point total on your bench stings. Rashad White over under 61.5 rushing and receiving yards. J-Lo.
That I say over. I think he'll make a couple of plays on catching the screens or getting those third down, short dump off passes for sure.
Total kicking points by the player Chase McLaughlin's over under is 7.5. Give me the over on that. I think he gets a couple field goals, a couple extra points. J-Lo over under for the Bucs 1.5 field goals total.
I say over. I can see him getting a couple field goals in there.
I agree. I like that as well. And then J-Lo, over under longest field goal. You get both McLaughlin and Eddie Pinheiro here combined. Over under 46.5 yards of the longest field goal.
I say over on that one. I think one of them would definitely hit that.
And then to take us home, I'll end it here as the defensive props aren't out yet, probably because the JTS is doubtful. Tyke Smith, Jordan Whitehead's out. Carolina's got a couple of questionable defenders, so they probably didn't post them yet. Over under of shortest successful field goal, 27.5 yards. Give me the over there, J-Lo. I don't think it's going to be the under because I think both of these coaches need to win this football game. I think Dave Canales wants revenge. I think Todd Bowles wants to keep his job. Therefore, I think you're going to see these guys be more aggressive, and I think if it's within the 10-yard line, you're not going to be seeing many field goal attempts, J-Lo. So give me the over, 27.5 there as our Bucs Bet segment is rounding out. J-Lo, I think there's good chances at money there tomorrow. I really do.
No, agreed. There's a good opportunity to win some good money, and hopefully the fans watching the show take some of those bets and win some good money because it's a very winnable game here for us, for the most part. But players breaking out for sure on some of those bets we put over. And you can't go wrong with Bucky Irving. Right now, he's probably the popular one out of the group, if you ask me.
Speaking of popular one, Mr. JLo, is Bucs Life Comments, Bucs Bets. Happy to have you at Bucs Life in the house as well. As we do stream live on Facebook through Bucs Life LLC. On YouTube, we're at Buccateers Podcast. But if you're a Facebook guy, you can find us at Bucs Life LLC, and we will be there. But Mr. JLo, speaking of being there, if the Bucs want to be there, which means the postseason dance at the end of the day, they got to string a lot of wins together, and that starts by making 2 victories in a row here. Tomorrow against the Panthers, 4:05 Eastern. Chris Myers and Mark Schallera are on the call. I'm a big Chris Myers guy, so very much so looking forward to that. J-Lo, Bucs Panthers score prediction and player of the game will be?
Give me Bucks 30, Panthers 20. I think it's going to be a good game. I see a lot of competitiveness in the first half. And then the MVP of the game is Kalijah Kancey. I think he's really going to get after Bryce Young and get a couple sets in there and make him, run all over the place to get rid of the football.
That was my player of the game last week, was Kancey, J-Lo, and I think I hit the nail on the head last week. We saw him be explosive. We saw him busting through that middle, and when him and Vita Vea are together, it's a force to be reckoned with, and they have a fun little inside bet going amongst themselves on who could get more sacks. Ultimately, Kancey's missed a lot more time than Vea has this year, but he could very much so catch him, as those two are this team's sack leaders, believe it or not. Both of our sack guys are coming from the inside, which we have to fix in the offseason, but we'll address that as the time comes. Give me Bucs 27-17. I think the Bucs handle this one pretty well, but I think it is a hard-fought battle. I think Panthers are in it the whole time. Never really winning the game, but in it the whole time. And then at the end, the Bucs get a late touchdown to cause some separation. And I'm going to take Mike Evans as my player of the game. I know you think he has a tough matchup, J-Lo, but I think Liam Cohen's going to do a nice job of scheming him open. And I think the Bucs know if he wants anywhere close to that 1,000-yard mark for the 10th, 11th, whatever the hell it is, consecutive season at this point, they're going to have to feed Mike early and often. So give me Mike Evans there as we await Joey Nips getting on the show. He should be joining any minute now. And, we're going to have to fine him for being a couple minutes late, but that's fine. We do need his Bucs score and player of the game preview. So we're going to skip to our next topic, J-Lo. Matt Eberflus fired. Thoughts on 2 head coach openings now in the middle of the year? As a reminder, Jets fired Robert Saleh, and now Matt Eberflus is gone.
I mean, it was going to happen sooner or later. I know it's the first time in Bears franchise history they fired a coach in the mid-season, but he just wasn't a good clock management guy. It's kind of similar to Todd Bowles, except unfortunately he is just not a head coach material. He's a defensive coordinator. He'll get a job as defensive coordinator and get another opportunity, but after watching that Thanksgiving game, we can talk about it if you want. But
do you think he pulls the Robert Saleh? You see, Saleh went to the Packers, and Packers haven't lost since, and Jets haven't won since. Before we bring Joey Nipson and circle back to the Bucs, J-Lo, 30 seconds or less, quick. Do you think Eberflus gets on a board, a program somewhere?
I think he will. I think some team will pick him up, kind of like how Robert Saleh got his little position. Probably has some influence in the game, which he will help, a team, because I think he's a good defensive mind coach. So I think he will. As far as the Bears go, they got a lot to fix, and it's going to take a really good coach to fix their problems.
Yeah, a lot of problems there. Nope. And Marcos Cash is saying fire Avero. The Panthers fan is calling for the firing of the Panthers defensive coordinator. So, and then he says J.C. Horn doesn't travel with the one wide receiver. There you go, J-Lo. So maybe Evans.
Thanks for the heads up.
Maybe Evans will have his chance. Speaking of having his chance, it's Joey's turn to predict Bucs score and player of the game prediction, Mr. Joey. It's about that time on a Saturday. Big week we had. We had Thanksgiving. We had double taping of AEW. We got more wrestling ahead today. We got a ton more football on our plates. Just wild weekend of sports, brother. How you doing? And what's your Bucs score and player of the game predictions?
Oh, I am doing great on this Saturday. Feel well rested. We got a big Notre Dame game, got a big WWE event. But that being said, back to the Buccaneers. I watched that Chiefs-Panthers game a decent amount last week, watching, of course, as many games as usual. And, you finally started to see some throws from Bryce Young that were starting to look good. I'm not saying by any means we'll see consistency in that maybe right off the bat. But against the Chiefs defense, who's been better than their offense at most times, that worries me a little. Not enough to affect a Buccaneers victory here, of course. But I do see this being a pretty tight game on the road. Where the Bucs will win. I'm going to go 27-21 Tampa Bay, and my player of the game is going to be so many good options as always. I'm going to go with Rachaad White. I think, sometimes he gets a little left behind the scenes and maybe some outsiders' minds with how many people they have in the backfield. I look for Rachaad White to maybe have a couple touchdowns on Sunday.
And he's actually, as you said, he is kind of the forgotten man back there on offense. But his stats this year have actually been pretty damn impressive for missing a couple games and for kind of being a more of a committee backfield type with Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving. Rachaad White is still finding his way into the end zone at a pretty good clip, and he's still racking up yardage at a decent clip. So I do love Rachaad White still, and we'll see if he could keep it up. But he has 4 receiving touchdowns on the year, 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's still producing pretty good, although a crowded backfield. And then if you're looking at the yardages, he has 301 receiving yards and 343 rushing yards. So he has an outside chance at still accumulating 1,000 yards combined on the season, although he has Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker and the likes back there. Marco says Jalen Coker and Jatavian Sanders are out. That's half of our pass catchers. Yep, 2 rookies right there. At least you guys do have Adam Thielen back, so that's a positive for you all. But Joey, from Tampa to Indianapolis, some vast differences in terms of weather this time of year, but neither of our teams are home, so that's okay. You guys are traveling to old friends in Foxborough. Obviously not quite the same hype that this game used to get when you had guys like Manning, Brady, when you had Dungy, Belichick, when you had some of the big wigs involved. But still, there's always, bittersweet feelings in a game as such when, these two teams have the history that they both have with each other. And kind of ironic, the Colts season is on the line going into New England, makes it kind of like a playoff game, like old times. How's Colts faithful feeling? I know there's quite a laundry list of injuries on the wide receiver depth chart heading into this Sunday's game with New England, 1 o'clock Eastern in Foxborough.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the weather right now, and thank God it's nothing like Buffalo where it seems to be where we'll get a fun snow football game. But looking at about 23 degrees, up to 20-mile-per-hour winds, but it will be sunny at least, so it's not completely brutal. I'm feeling pretty confident about this game, not extremely, because when you're 5-7, you could put it as you want, but you can't be fully confident. New England's not a very good team. But we got to get Jonathan Taylor going. That's what's got to happen. Between him and Richardson, we need over 120 rush yards combined. And then it will take care of the pass game. You can dink and dunk your way, maybe a couple big plays. But I really think we need to establish the line of scrimmage, which we have not done. Some people who don't know football will look at, some things and not look at the lines on each side of the ball. Our offensive line is struggling with 3 rookies right now. We've had to move some pieces around. We do get our left tackle back this weekend. But I'm ready for battle, and I think we will win in a close game. And like you said, it's not quite like the Manning Brady days of old, but we have not won in New England since 2006, so we should turn it around Sunday afternoon.
What score are you rolling, and who's your player of the game?
I am going to go Colts 24, New England 16. And my player of the game is going to be Mr. Jonathan Taylor. I'm sticking with the running backs today. I went with White in Tampa. I'm going to go with Taylor and Indy, and that's how it's going to lay out.
It's honestly pretty amazing to me, and obviously they're not playing great football because, they'd be a little ahead in the standings then, but it's pretty amazing that the Colts are playing as well as they are with both Pittman and Taylor being their two big money cogs in offense, not having the years that they really should be having, and that's due to O-line play, perhaps injuries. Quarterback room has been rotating, but the Colts still have 5 wins, and their top 2 weapons by far are both having maybe the worst years of their career in terms of stats wise. So I think as they get healthier, Pittman, and as the O-line plays better down the stretch, I think you're really going to start seeing these two guys produce a little bit more. And you saw that out of Pittman last week. You saw him have his second best game of the season, almost hit that 100-yard mark. So I'm looking for this Colts offense to look for its explosiveness, and I think that starts hitting this Sunday in New England. I think you're going to see a couple of big plays ripped off by Taylor, Pittman, and those likes. And I'll tell you what, just release the whole tight end room now. Just leave them all at home. I don't want to see a ball thrown to any of those guys. I tried to love Ogletree. He's a cool human. His hands are just butter.
He had a holding penalty, then he dropped a touchdown. It's like,
that guy's on my shit list. Granson, at least I never was
Short
a big
Bus
Granson
makes a couple plays.
Yeah, in years past, he made a couple more, it seemed like, though. But, yeah, I'm not going to completely write him off in his pillow cap. And then, Will Mallory, it's like waste of a draft pick, I feel like. That guy does absolutely nothing. And then Mo Ellie Cox, he's going to get one open pass a game. It just depends if he drops it or if it's a catch. So I'm leaning on Pittman and Taylor in this one heavy. And that's why I see the Colts and Anthony Richardson turning a new leaf of offense in this game, and I have them scoring pretty good against New England. I'm going to have the Colts winning this one 30 to give me 30 to 14.
Oh.
Yeah, I think I mean they got to win here, and I think they got to win big. I think they have something to prove, and their bye week still looms too. So they got to play some good football right now. And this New England team's vulnerable, man. I mean, outside of a Matt Eberflus-led Bears team, they really haven't looked that great overall this year in total outside of week 1 in Cincinnati. And my player of the game, I know I've talked up Pittman and Taylor, but if you're going to hold Drake May to 14 points, you got to get after his ass defensively. You just have to. And I'm looking at Kwity Paye to make a big impact on Sunday. I'm looking for him to step up. Beautiful wife, by the way. I will say, you're winning on and off the field, Kwity. So, or fiance, I should say. Kudos to you for her. But you're going to have to get after Drake May. And if you want that next big contract, Kwity Paye, you're playing good football, but you're going to have to continue that consistency down the stretch. You get after Drake May. I'm going with 1.5 sacks and a strip sack for Kwity Paye in Sunday's showdown.
And listen, if we win this game and we have our bye week, in 2 weeks we play Denver, that's for the 7th seed in the wild card. So you beat New England, you have a chance to play for the playoffs in a couple of weeks. So a lot of football left, but we're right in the thick of it.
And the Raiders should have, they're a whole different story. Yeah. Antonio Pierce might be joining the Eberflus and Saleh train soon. But J-Lo, thoughts on the Colts and where they stand heading into tomorrow?
I think they're right there, man. It's just they just gotta get the offensive line intact, like you mentioned, Joey. But I do feel it's a winnable game for them. Give me Colts 24, Patriots 13. MVP of the game. I'm going to say the other side of the edge is Latu. I think Latu is going to have a career game tomorrow. I think he's going to get after Drake May because that's the only way you're going to beat the Patriots. You get after him, you put the pressure. Shutting down the run won't be a problem. I think you guys would be fine at that. Just getting after him. I think Latu.
And their running backs are pretty putrid too, New England's.
And they are. I mean, to me, I feel like the Patriots are a run football team more than passing, if you ask me. So I think, shutting down the run won't be a problem. You'll get out to Drake May. I think May even throw a couple of pits because he's just not NFL ready right now, in my opinion. But, the Patriots got to play with what they got. So, but yeah, give me the Colts, with the, meaningful winning game because I think they can compete and make it to the playoffs with that last spot.
And they need
Just
this
got-
win if they want to do that. They need this win
Agreed.
just like the Bucs do. Both of these teams need to win tomorrow if they want any chance at sniffing playoffs. To be quite honest, if you're the Colts and Bucs, and I know they're not the easiest games, but if you're losing to teams like New England and Carolina in the playoff stretch, you probably don't deserve to be in the postseason anyways, just how the way she goes. Speaking of the way she goes, Joey, J-Lo and I talked about it briefly. 2 head coach openings already. There might be a record this year in the offseason, I feel like. Oh, no, there's 3 because New Orleans let go of Dennis Allen too. So I'm sorry, I misspoke on the show earlier. You have 3 head coach openings. You have the Jets, you have New Orleans, and you have the Bears. Joey, 30 seconds or less. Who's the most appealing coaching spot open thus far? And does Matt Eberflus pull the Robert Saleh and end up on a coaching staff somewhere?
Out of Bears, Saints, and Jets, I'm going to go.
Am I missing any? I think that's it, right?
No, I think you're right on that.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not taking the Jets because they don't really have good cap space, and I don't trust their franchise. Then it's down to the Bears and the Saints. I know the Bears have had their weird moments, but Saints are in a weird quarterback spot. Caleb Williams, no matter who comes in there, they're going to like him. So I think if they could actually be competent and hire the right head coach, I think Chicago's a very attractive job. I mean, they have a lot of good weapons. And like I said, a year 2 under Caleb, watch out. To me, if they don't get caught on this Thomas Brown train, he was a play caller for Carolina last year. He don't need to be the head coach. Make him the OC. Bring in a veteran head coach who can kick some players' asses in the locker room. I'm thinking like a Vrabel type of guy I would like to see. And let's see Chicago become the monsters of the Midway again. So I'm going to go Chicago, not by a lot, by a little bit over New Orleans.
Robert Saleh leached on with the Packers, and they only have 1 loss since. Do you think Eberflus maybe returns to the Colts or somewhere else? But do you think he resurfaces?
What is Saleh's position?
He's just a defensive consultant.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, if you want a guy to make your team worse and get the number 1 pick, I'd get Eberflus in there and give him a chance to, design a few things. So, yeah, like if you're the Giants who are already struggling or the Raiders who need a QB, sure, let's bring in Eber Bum and make him have a few. Because I'll tell you what, the Saleh, we all know what happened there, even though I'm not saying he was the greatest coach in the world. Eberflus is clearly an idiot. So, I mean, I think very smart of the Packers to do so. I think if you're a bad team looking to get worse, then yeah, Eberflus is yours.
J-Lo, 30 seconds or less. Out of Saleh, Dennis Allen, Matt Eberflus, who's the first to get a defensive coaching gig again, or defensive coordinator gig next year?
I say Robert Saleh. I think he's a solid defensive coordinator. Dennis Allen, I think he's a solid defensive coordinator as well, but I think Saleh will have more success to get another head coaching opportunity in the future than Dennis Allen. He's done. And then, like Joey said, Eberflus, whatever his name is, I think he's going to be pretty much a linebacker.
Spread him if you got him.
I hear it.
Time to spread him, ladies and gentlemen. As Puckhead says, classless organization. They have Floozy speak to press and they can him and no balls to do it live. They do. I do agree with that. I'm not a big Eberflus guy, and he embarrassed him on live TV on Thanksgiving, obviously. But the Bears just don't know how to run. I mean, but allegedly you heard random things that they were in a meeting at the time Eberflus went to the podium and they didn't really know what the hell was going on. But obviously the Bears are very inept at running things. And I'm not really surprised that it went the wrong way. But it is spread them if you got him time where we go into the world of college
now we got
football.
Mr. H talking balls. What's going on here? This show's off to a hot start.
Yeah, and Marcos is saying he hopes Panthers go after and get Saleh. Joey, we do have a Panther fan hanging with us.
Yes, sir. Marcos. How we doing, Marcos? How we doing?
Spread him if you got him, guys. The World of College Football Rivalry Weekend. It's been an awesome Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday thus far of college football. Let's see if Saturday continues that trend, as we're going to continue that trend with J-Lo. Noon Eastern kickoff, J-Lo. Remember, spread them means we factor in the spreads. West Virginia, Texas Tech, J-Lo. West Virginia on the road, +3.
I say give me West Virginia. I think they'll cover the spread.
Mr. H said Sox next. Oh boy, we're getting to the sock part of the show with Mr. H. Joey, you're next. This is the game of the day to me, or at least one of the games of the day. Number 16th ranked South Carolina plus 2.5 on the road at 12th ranked Clemson, 12 o'clock Eastern. That's pretty much an elimination game damn near from the playoffs.
I would love nothing more than Debo to take a loss. So I'm going to go with 2.5 ain't much, but I'll take South Carolina in the points. I think it'll come down right to a field goal at the end.
UTSA getting 6th at 25th ranked Army. That game is at noon Eastern. Army is like a 1% chance to make the playoffs. I saw they need some crazy stuff to happen. I'm going to go with Army laying the 6 in that one. They need some brownie points if they want any hope of staying alive there. J-Lo, 12 o'clock Eastern, ACC battle. Good on the hard court, on the turf. Duke at Wake Forest. Duke dropping 3.5.
I say Duke. Give me Duke on the cover of those 3 points.
Joey, the games of the day just seem to be falling to you right now. Noon Eastern, 7th ranked Tennessee travels to a very close frenemy in Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt plus 10.5 points at home.
You know, Vanderbilt's had some fun in what they do this year. They took down Alabama at home. With the points, I do like Vanderbilt to cover. I don't think they'll win, but I think they cover.
Kansas and Baylor is a pick'em noon Eastern in Baylor. Listen, Kansas has been playing really good college football, and they want this win to get to a bowl game. You guys want to hear Kansas's last 3 games? They beat 25th ranked Colorado 37-21. They beat 19th ranked BYU 17-13. They beat 18th ranked Iowa State 45-36. The week before that, they lost by 2 to 24th ranked Kansas State. The week before that, they lost by 4 to 16th ranked Arizona State. This is a team that's always right there. I'm going with Kansas big at Baylor today. And you're going to hear me pick them as a lock later, potentially, or breadwinner as well. But keep Kansas at Baylor on your guys' radars today. Don't let the records fool you there. J-Lo, this is a fun rivalry. Not quite a successful one, but a fun one. You have UConn at UMass, 12 o'clock Eastern. UMass plus 9.5 at home.
I say cover the plus 9, but I think UConn wins.
Joey, in-state rivalry of the Bourbon State, Louisville at Kentucky. Kentucky's getting 4 at home, 12 o'clock Eastern.
Ooh, man. Louisville quarterback play's been pretty good. I even like what they do on the ground. They're better on offense, so give me Louisville.
Michigan at Ohio State. Michigan plus 19.5 on the road in Ohio State. Give me Michigan. I think they've been playing better football lately. I think Ohio State just had I know they beat Indiana pretty good, but when you got a game like Indiana and then next week you got a championship game, you might be looking past Michigan a little bit in between 2 real tough games. I think Michigan plays good enough football to cover the spread today. J-Lo, this is another fun under-the-table rivalry, 1:30 Eastern. Eastern Michigan travels across the state to take on Western Michigan in a MACtion battle.
Give me Western Michigan.
I like that. The Broncos that you're going with there. Joey, you get 3 o'clock Eastern, Pittsburgh plus 4 at Boston College.
Yeah, for that one, I'll go Pittsburgh. I just think they're the better team.
J-Lo, 2 o'clock Eastern, right in your backyard. USF leaves your backyard and goes to Rice to take on Rice. Rice is home, 5.5-point underdogs.
Yeah, give me USF big on the road. I think they're playing better football than they did in the middle of the season. So give me USF getting their 7th win, which is improvement.
Middle Tennessee at Florida International at Pitbull Stadium today, 2 o'clock Eastern. The Fight and Anthony Gators are -9. I think they win the game, but give me Middle Tennessee plus the 9. To me, it's hard to lay that much points for a team that's been playing underperforming so far this year. Joey, 3:30 Eastern. Cal travels to 9th-ranked SMU. SMU needs this one. SMU's -13.5 at home.
Yeah, they need it badly, no doubt. But, hey, be careful. Cal's quarterback does have over 3,000 yards passing, so they know how to fly with them a little bit over there. But give me SMU and give all the points away because they should win by 2 touchdowns.
J-Lo, one of the games of the day, 14th ranked Sun Devils of Arizona State travel to Arizona. Arizona plus 8.5 at home. That game's 3:30 Eastern.
Give me Arizona State, Sun Devils. Those guys have been on fire, and I think they get a big win over their rival, Arizona, on the road.
NC State at North Carolina. NC State plus 3:30 Eastern. Give me NC State. North Carolina just fired Mac Brown. I don't think that's going to help him. I think they'll learn that the hard way. Joey, Arkansas at 24th ranked Missouri, 3:30 Eastern. Missouri's -3.
Yeah, we'll go with Missouri at home. I mean, get to 9-3 would be pretty impressive. Get 5 wins in the SEC. Give me the Missouri Tigers.
I like that as well. J-Lo, Auburn at 13th ranked Alabama. Bama needs this one to stay alive in playoff contention, although they should already be out. But they're -10.5 at home, 3:30 Eastern.
I see Alabama taking care of business, beating Auburn. Auburn's just a beat-down football team. But I agree, Alabama should not be in the playoffs, even with their 3 losses.
We're all going to do these next couple, starting with Joey here. Joey, 3:30 Eastern is rivalry. Maryland at Penn State. Penn State is 43-4-1 in this rivalry, I believe. They're absolutely dominating. 43-4-1. Maryland's last win came in the COVID year of 2020. Penn State's at home -25.5, though, in a rivalry game. Joe, where you headed?
I'm going to go with Penn State. I mean, you can call it a rivalry, but when you're the little sisters of the poor in the rivalry, how much of a rivalry really is it? Give me Penn State by 3 touchdowns plus. I feel bad for anybody that goes to Maryland this year or graduates.
Oh boy, J-Lo, 3:30 Eastern. Are you feeling bad for the Terps grads as well?
No, absolutely. Penn State's going to demolish them. Maryland's, like I said, like Auburn, not a good football team, and Penn State, they got bigger things to win for. So Penn State wins big today.
Yeah, I think after escaping, well done job by Coach James Franklin last week, going for it on 4th and 1 3 times on the final drive to put the game away in Minnesota. I think that game got them over the edge. I think they blow Maryland out at home today as well. Give me Penn State by 1,000,000. Another great game. Notre Dame, 5th rank in the country, goes to USC at 3:30. Notre Dame laying 7 on the road. As Marco says, I just subbed. I don't like your team, but you guys are awesome. I like your show. We appreciate that.
We acknowledge you, Marcos.
Appreciate the love, man.
We love you, Marcos. Joey, you're going to kick us off because it's your team. Notre Dame, USC. Notre Dame -7, 3:30 Eastern.
Yeah, forget all the haters. I know Caleb Williams is going down there today for a little nice thing, but we're going to put that to an end in Southern California. We're going to run the ball down their throats with Jeremiah Love. We're going to stay focused. We're going to stay primed. We'll win by 10 points. We're going to cover. We're going to win. And we're going to be in the football playoff to show people that we could win a playoff game.
Yeah, I think Caleb Williams going down there is bad news for USC because the past 2 years he's done nothing but lose football games, whether it's in California or Chicago. The man hasn't been a winner. I think that bodes well for Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame laying the 7. J-Lo, what say you?
No, going to USC is obviously a trap game, but not today, not tonight. Notre Dame's going to take care of business, pound USC, possibly getting their head coach terminated because he's just not having a good time in USC.
Wow, Lincoln Riley.
Give me Notre Dame big on the road, making the playoffs, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we got to get going here on this pick-em. We're only at the 3:30 Easterns, guys, so kind of just sorry, we're already pushing kickoff. Haven't got to fantasy or NFL yet. Joey, I think we're on you. 3:30 Eastern, Rutgers +2 at Michigan State.
Nap game of the day. Get your rest in. Go Rutgers.
J-Lo, 3:30 Eastern. This is Gene's lock of the day. Number 8, Miami at Syracuse.
Syracuse with the upset at home. Miami misses the
Wow,
playoffs.
look at this. Q's. We literally, on Syracuse, that's ironic as hell. We get
Wow.
a Q's guy as J-Lo picks the Syracuse game. So you're going against Gene's lock. I don't hate it. Fresno State +8 at UCLA, 3:30 Eastern. Give me Fresno State getting the 8 points on the road there. Joey, you're going to get a couple of mid games in the middle of the day right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Geez, we're really reaching deep here. Here you go. This one's a good one to land on you. 7 o'clock Eastern, Purdue at 10th ranked Indiana. Indiana minus 29.5.
Oh, yeah. Indiana by 50. Boilermakers are toast.
J-Lo future pack battle. Wyoming +17 at Washington State, 6:30 Eastern.
Washington State.
Oklahoma +5.5 on the road at LSU. This one's at 7 o'clock. Give me Oklahoma getting the points after a big win against Auburn, or against Bama last week. My apologies. We're all doing this one, 7 o'clock. I know J-Lo's all bricked up for this one. Florida minus 16.5 at Florida State. J-Lo?
We are going to the Doak, and we're going to put 40 on them. I repeat, 40 on the Noles, with Florida rolling all over them, showing how bad Florida State is in shit right now. And y'all better pick Florida, or else I'm disowning both of you right now.
Joey, Florida. Are you going to be disowned by J-Lo? Is he threatening you? Who are you going with 16.5 point favorite?
It's tempting, but stock gang for life. Give me the Gators and give them all the points.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's a lot of, man, it's weird seeing the Gators given that many points, but the way the Gators have been playing lately and the way Florida State played all year until last week, it makes a lot of sense there. I think Florida wins this game easily. I just don't know if it's by 17 plus points, but I'm going to go ahead and say it is. Give me Florida minus the 16.5. One of the games of the day, Joey, you've been getting good ones. Number 3, Texas at number 20, Texas A&M, 7:30 Eastern. A&M plus 5.5 point underdogs at home.
Yeah, I absolutely love this matchup. Quinn Ewers is a little banged up. Expect to maybe see Arch Manning play a little bit. I would not be surprised there. In one of the most hostile environments, Texas, A&M, and the points. I think Texas might win by 1 to 3. But A&M covers.
J-Lo, 7:30 Eastern, Kansas State plus 2.5 at 17th ranked Iowa State.
Ooh, tough one. I say give me the Cyclones. Let's go Rocco bet.
8 o'clock Eastern, Virginia travels to Virginia Tech. Virginia plus 5 on the road. Give me Virginia getting the 5 on the road at Virginia Tech. I just think they keep it close. Only a couple rivalry matchups left. In-state rivalry, Joey. Nevada at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. 21 ranked UNLV, minus 17.5 at home, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, that's sure one game I won't be watching, I could tell you that. But give me UNLV minus the points in the rivalry of Nevada.
J-Lo, Houston plus 12.5 at 19th ranked BYU. That one's at 10:15 Eastern.
BYU should take care of business and go to the Big 12 championship.
I'll take it home. 11 o'clock, New Mexico minus 3.5 at Hawaii. Give me Hawaii there. I think they win this one and have some fun. That'll do it for our spread 'em as we head into our MASH report. Real quick, Joey, 30 seconds are left. Les, how's your fantasy football season looking?
Quite a few teams. Some are going to make the playoffs. A couple are not, but more of them are. So things are looking good. And we'll see what happens in the league room with Pops. A lot going on there. And Yahoo, me and you have a couple
lot of trickery going on there. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah, extensions. Yeah, what are you going to do? You got outsmart the smart sometimes, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So it's going pretty well, and I'm pretty confident I'll win one championship at least this year.
Like our good old wrestling friends say, you got to shock the system sometimes. That's what we got to do. J-Lo, how's your fantasy season looking, my friend? 30 seconds or less before we get to MASH report.
2 of them are tied. Most likely, probably will make 1 out of the 3 of my leads. So I got to take care of business, take care of you in the league we're in together, so I can get into the playoffs in the ESPN league.
Hey, just Venmo me 10 and I'll roll over for you.
No need, brother. I got you.
I'm kidding around, bro. But yeah, my team, I have the third most points in that league, and I'm in like 10th place out of 12th. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Third most points, and I'm almost in last. What the hell's going on here? But that's fantasy in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hanging in there tough in all my other leagues, so that's all we need to hear about that. Okay, guys, MASH report. J-Lo, we're going to give you the first one. Quarterback position, 1 QB league. There's negatives for turnovers. Anthony Richardson at New England or Jameis Winston at Denver?
I'm going to go with AR5 over J-Boo. Forget that. AR all day.
Joey, we're going to go into a different position with you, my friend. Once again, this is full point PPR, negatives for leagues as well. Joey, out of these wide receivers, you could only start 2 of them. Who are you going with? Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Khalil Shakir. Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Jerry Jeudy, Khalil Shakir. 2 of those
I'm
guys.
taking the Buffalo Bills guys out with that one. I'm going to go Kupp and Adams.
I like your logical choice there. That's where I would lean as well.
Especially 3 years ago, I would have definitely went with that.
Yeah. I mean, one of those things that, nostalgic of fantasy, it always blows my mind. And I'll end it with 2 running backs out of this bunch. Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson, and Tony Pollard. Give me, hard to bench Taylor. Give me Taylor and Pollard. I think Pollard's had a really good year in Tennessee. I think, he should be a Titan for years to come. He's been their only life-beat of offense. And Jonathan Taylor, I think, is a big one. I can't really trust Ramondre Stevenson on the Patriots. That does it for our MASH report. Speaking of report, our upcoming schedule of the Buccateers will be back live Tuesday here around 6 o'clock Eastern, recapping Bucs Panthers and looking ahead to college football championship weekend, Bucs Raiders weekend, where we head to Tampa, Colts bye week, and so much more. But that's Tuesday. That's our next scheduled pod. Then we're going to be off Saturday. So I'll think if we're going to do Tuesday or Thursday or just a Tuesday show next week. We'll see about that. But it's time for a Red Eyes Pick'em, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, the spread gets forgot about here. This is in honor of the late, great Ken Rubright, who loved the Buccateers. But we just go through the NFL games and we pick the winners. Before we get to our breadwinners, remember, breadwinners-wise, after this past week, we're up to 32-21 and plus $186 on the year. So we're definitely making that
Man,
bread.
if we would have hit that Georgia Tech yesterday, whew.
I know. We were 1 game away from moving to 33-20 and plus damn near $400 on the year. But what can you do, J-Lo? I love the swinging big or going home, my friend.
Yeah.
Speaking of J-Lo, you're up first, J-Lo. Red Eyes Pick'em. Titans at Commanders, 1 o'clock Eastern.
Give me Commanders at home. I think they'll rebound and get.
Although we'll be rooting for the Titans, ain't that right?
Oh yeah, no, we'll be rooting for them, but I think Commanders take care of business at home.
Joey, Houston, Jacksonville in an interdivision battle, 1 o'clock Eastern in the swamp of Jacksonville.
Sorry, this music's got me vibing right now. I don't know about you guys, but Houston in a close one. I'm going to be rooting for the Jags, but Houston wins in a close one.
Yeah, we're in similar spots there. We want Tennessee and Jacksonville, but I don't think they're going to be hanging in there. Arizona, Minnesota, 1 o'clock Eastern. Give me Minnesota at this point. The Bucs need less and less of competition. Minnesota, I kept wanting them to lose, but after they beat the Bears last week, that's a little much to ask for. Jayla, 1 o'clock Eastern, Chargers at Atlanta.
Give me Chargers with the rebound, taking the aggression out on a bad Falcons football team. Chargers.
Joey, 1 o'clock Eastern. This game's interesting. Seattle travels across the country to take on the Jets.
Yeah, I think Jets are due. Give me the Jets.
Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Bengals here, actually. I think they upset the Steelers, although Bengals are -3. Pittsburgh's one of those teams who, they lost to the Browns last week. Look out for a mini snowball potentially right now. Joey, 4:05 East. I'm sorry, J-Lo, 4:05 Eastern. Rams at the Saints.
That's going to be a good game, I feel like. And give me the Rams on the road with the big win over the Saints.
Joey, you're landing on all the good games, college and NFL-wise. Eagles at Ravens, 4:25 Eastern tomorrow. Potentially the game of the weekend across football.
I'm going to go Baltimore. I think, they need to step up tomorrow. Eagles are due for a little bit of a letdown. Maybe give me Baltimore.
49ers at Bills, Sunday night, 8:20 on NBC. That game is going to be a blizzard potentially. Give me the Bills with the home field advantage in the snow. J-Lo, take us home as Jameis Winston on Monday night travels to Denver and co. As El Monito joins us on Facebook, but Jameis travels. Yeah, El Monito. Jameis travels to Denver Monday night, J-Lo. Who you got?
I got Jameis and the Browns with the upset over the Broncos. I think they're going to be on a little streak going on. James has got the boys going. I don't think he's going to have a great game, but I know he's going to manage to help get the Browns another upset victory over the Broncos.
Joey, before we get to our breadwinners to end the program, give us your final word for football weekend, then we'll wrap it up with breadwinners.
Well, listen, the final word for the football weekend, we are going to have many great games today that affect the college football playoff. You got to have your socks ready. You got to have your kneecaps buckled, as Dan Campbell would say, and you got to lock in. We have 12 spots open. NFL's coming down to the wild card. I'm excited as all hell. It's cold outside here in Illinois. Keep the ears covered and let's go football.
Richard, stick with us. We're still live here for a couple more minutes, brother. You still going to get a breadwinner segment, some socking around, and more. J-Lo, final word for the program.
Final word is, great chopping up with your fellas, and glad everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and looking forward to watching some college ball and some Buccaneer football tomorrow. And Colts.
You know what? Yep, Colts too he threw in for those that couldn't hear, but you know what? When it's Survivor Series, it means important football is to be had on the schedule. It means we're getting late into the fall, approaching the winter, and that means important football's on our hands. And that means it's the last important pay-per-view of the 2024 year as well in Survivor Series. So watch out, guys. If you're missing out on college football, enjoy it. Yesterday was a great day of it. You really only have this Saturday and next Saturday left of a lot of football to be had for college. So go out there, enjoy it. When Survivor Series hits the calendar, important football is to be had. Now it's breadwinning time, sock winning time. However the hell you want to do it, guys. We do have important things to be had, and just to let you guys know, we have done you guys very well this year. 32 wins, 21 losses, plus $186 on the year. As Joey alluded to, we almost went 3-0 as J-Lo had Georgia Tech, but Joey had Dallas, I had Akron. Both of them took care of business, and then Gene does have Miami today as well. So Joey, not including Miami, because that's Mr. Lean Mean Gene Machine's breadwinner. Where are you heading, brother?
Oh man, I am torn between two games so badly right now. Can you say again, what do you have for the Ravens-Eagles spread?
I have Eagles getting 3 right now.
All right, I'm gonna take Baltimore and give the 3. I think they're due for a big one. I think you'll see a big day out of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. So give me the Ravens as my lock, -3.
You want to do -3? You could always bump him. Let's see here. If you wanted to bump, well, I'll see if I could pull that up in a minute. But you could bump him if you wanted to. But we'll give you the -3 for now if you want to adjust that. But Ravens,
I'll think about it while we're going around.
I like Ravens -3, though. I think they should cover that. J-Lo, your breadwinner is... I'll just get mine off first because I kind of alluded to it earlier. I got Kansas money line today because it's a pick'em there. So give me Kansas and a pick'em. Very simple, 20 to win 20. I got Kansas. Richard says taking Ravens. Lamar is a smarter QB than Hurts. I agree with Richard there, so give him the Ravens. Joey, real quick, if you wanted to bump down the Ravens let's say to -1, $20 would win you $15 still.
Yeah, give me the bump.
All right, Joey, Ravens -1. I got Kansas money line. J-Lo, where are you heading?
Give me Oklahoma on the road against LSU. Give me the +6 for Oklahoma.
All right, so once again, to revert, Joey, Ravens -1. Tones, Kansas money line. And J-Lo got Oklahoma +6 on the road. Any last words, guys, before we head out?
Enjoy your day, fellas, and make sure you put your socks back on, Mr. Joey.
Oh my God.
War games. It is war.
We got Joey Myers as the breadwinners once again. Ravens -1. Oklahoma +6 and Kansas money line. Fire the damn cannons. Go Colts. Go Bucs. 3-2-1 touchdown. Penn State, Notre Dame, Florida, Tampa, Indy. We're out, guys, until we'll let you guys know when we're back next week because it's likely going to be one show. But socks are flying everywhere right now. We'll see you guys on the flip. God bless. Have a great holiday weekend, Friendsgiving, whatever people might have tonight. Enjoy Survivor Series. We out.
Deuces, ooses.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Bucs fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by Lead Goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or